Here's just kind of like a wall of a bunch of stuff that I've just collected. You know, I just got this in the mail from this fan. Her name is Grace. I have a lot of talented fans who send me a lot of very personal pieces of art. Like even someone put this Rubik's Cube together.
Look, I'm innovating and changing the game. Who else you know playing the strings and making a name? But ain't anything ever changed, I'm staying the same. For any kid who got a dream, I'm making a lane. Yes, I came to impress. Even though my foot's in the door, I'm still remaining a threat. Man, I got so much in store and I ain't taking a step back. No matter who's up in front of me, cause in a couple years the same ones will be under me.
What's up guys, my name is Michael Conor. Checking out, I'm from Cleveland, Shaker Heights, Ohio. Rapper, violin player, musician, whatever you want to call it, boy band member, get it going.
How does a rapper end up in a boy band?
Damn. Well, so I'm gonna take you guys back to how it kind of started. So I was kind of doing my thing locally, just as a rapper. I always wanted to be one since I was like probably 15 is when it got serious, but I've been writing raps just on my own. Just when I was like going through elementary school and being like just like listening to like all the new Drake and Lil Wayne and Eminem that was coming out, like, and I was just so impressed by it, and I wanted to have that skill. Like I remember, like every kid, I was trying to do like the Look at Me Now verses, like in 6th grade, just trying to really perfect that Busta Rhymes verse. And when I was 15, it kind of became more serious, just because there was a lot of people at my school who started releasing music, and they started putting stuff on SoundCloud, and people were like talking about them, being like, oh, like this guy's song is so dope. And I was like, it's like I could do that. Like I didn't really realize that was a cool thing to do at that time, you know what I mean? Because I was just under the impression that I was just doing it for me, you know? And then I was like, well, I can do this too. I started writing, putting stuff on SoundCloud, got like not like a couple thousand plays, but it was like, for me, it was like that adrenaline of putting something out was just so rewarding for me. And having the response, and even having people come up to me at school and being like, yo, I like that new song you put out. Like the old one was like, but like every time I would put out a new song, people would, you know, say something different about it and be like, oh, like you're going, I like this direction, I like this side. And it was just a cool feeling. It was like learning new like tricks on a skateboard almost. You know what I mean? Like you learn the kickflip, and then like you get that tray or something, and then everyone goes crazy. But to answer your question, it was always my passion. And when I hit high school, it became very serious because I was faced with this ultimatum of, the conversation of college started coming up, and I was like, well, damn, like I don't want to go to college. You know, I really don't want to do that. And I was like, shit, man, you know, what do I do? I mean, I know I have this passion. I know I really want to do this, but at the end of the day, this is life. There's money involved. There's all this stuff. I can't just be putting stuff on SoundCloud for the rest of my life. And I was living in Virginia at that time. And sophomore year of high school, I moved back to Cleveland, where I am originally from. And there's this video that got put up on Twitter of me rapping at my high school, and I would say it went locally viral. I wouldn't say it was like a global sensation type deal, but it was enough to get people talking about me and, you know, get some connections. And one of the people who reached out to me was Ray Jr., and he kind of mentored me through everything and got me in the studio on his own dime, talked to me about my image and all this stuff, and really put the business mindset in my head instead of just being a rapper and just wanted to do that. So I put out a couple music videos, put out a couple songs, and it was good, but it wasn't going anywhere. And it was more of just people looked at it as, oh, like that's that kid who does the videos and is the rapper. And of course I had some people who were, I would say, fans of me. I had fans, but it was like, I mean, I could count on one hand, you know what I mean? So I was just putting out these videos, and I was working at B-Spot at the time up on Woodmere, and just as I have to start making money, you know, it just got to that point in my life where I had to make more adult decisions, and I couldn't just be that kid who just made music all the time. So I was doing that just to earn some money. I got fired from that job because of a dress code violation. My black t-shirt was too long apparently. Kevin, if you're still there, I still don't like you. That's my manager. But yeah, so that happened, and I was, that sucked. I ended up getting a job at Dewey's Pizza right after that, and it was pretty cool there, to be honest. I didn't actually go through the full training, but what happened was I got the job. I did this interview. You have to memorize like all the pizza toppings on every pizza to get accepted into it. So I took the time. I wrote everything down. I even have, I can show you right now. I got all the pizza toppings still written in this notebook. Let me see if I can find. Oh yeah, here we go. So right here, you got the Socrates Revenge, olive oil, minced garlic, spinach, mozzarella. All these, I would just write them down over and over, just because I was like hustling, and like even the salads and the calzones and everything. Like you have to memorize everything. The Southwest barbecue chicken. I have all this stuff written down, and I was just like, yo, like, I just have to do it, And I got the job, and I was going through training, and all of a sudden, I got this opportunity to shoot something for XXL, which actually seen behind the camera shot. It was the one with Ray, and that was a day where I was supposed to be at work. And so because of that, I got fired from that job because you can't miss training days. And I talked, like, my manager was really cool with me at that job, and he was like, I played him some of my stuff, I gave him some of my CDs, and he was like, yo, yeah, I can't wait to see you go do your thing. And I had to have that call where, like, he called me and was like, look, dude, like, I totally get it. I understand where you're coming from, but just as a legal thing, like, I have to let you go, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing personal. I definitely wish you the best of success, you know that. But it didn't work out, so I'm sitting there. I don't have a job. Like, this is my second job that I got fired from, and I'm like, shit, like what am I doing? I was a junior in high school. I wasn't in school, but I was in this online program because I wanted to focus on music and work more hours so I could kind of just build that foundation for when I was on my own. I would figure it out. And so just think of like the setting, like I'm in school, just got fired. I'm going through my phone, and I go through Instagram, and I see like one request pop up, and I'm like, okay, what's this request? It's this lady named Pam, and I was like, okay, like what's Pam got to say? And she's like, hi, like I'm a casting producer, and I wanted to talk to you on the phone about a big television opportunity. And I'm like, okay, like text her back, like, yeah, like I'm free now. Go in the hallway, get on the phone with her, and she's talking about, oh yeah, so ABC is putting together this show. We don't know what it's called. It's about making a boy band though. And I saw one of your videos on YouTube, and I thought that you would be a great person to audition for, and we would love to like see that on our show. And I was like, okay, but it's like, you realize I don't sing, right? I don't sing. I never really sang before. I mean, I'm not tone deaf, but I don't sing. And she was like, well, no. We're trying to make it like a diverse group, and we want rappers, we want beatboxers, we want to just have as many different elements to make a 2018 boy band. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And she's like, yeah, the winners get a record deal, and we don't know who the judges are yet, but we'll figure it out. And I was like, okay, like there's not a lot of preparation going into this. This pitch is kind of dry, but I just got fired from a job. I've been waiting on that one break, to finally get my chance to show people what I can do. I was like, why not? So I hopped on this Skype interview in this room, actually, and there was this lady named Susan who didn't show her face on the interview, so I was already sketched out by that. So she was just talking to me, asking me questions. She asked me to sing a song for her, so I got on this piano and I sang a song for her. And I was like, gosh, like what do I sing? Like I don't sing, so I sang this like Bruno Mars song, and it was awful. She's like, oh yeah, okay, like we'll keep in touch. And I was like, you know I'm not a singer, right? And she's like, oh really? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, well, what do you do? I was like, oh, I rap. She's like, oh, well, can you like do something? So I freestyled for her. And she was like, oh, okay, like we'll be in touch. Like, and I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I went to my room and I was like, damn, like, I wonder if this is gonna work out. Sure enough, a couple days later, I got a call back that I was going out to LA to do the top 50 auditions. Now this is before the show. So the show was top 30, but top 50 was the casting audition. So you go in front of the producers face to face, and they kind of see what you're like on camera, or like what certain talents or whatever. They just want to basically see you in person. So I was there. I met all the guys, and I'm walking in this hotel lobby, and I'm like, I see all these kids who are dressing just like me. They got like the hair up, and I was like, oh damn, like there's no way I stand out compared to all these kids. Like there's just so many people who just look like me, and they're probably great singers, and there's probably better rappers than me. Like I don't know. And then came time to audition, and I went in there. I had prepared a song. I did some acapella stuff, and they're like, yeah, like, oh yeah, respect, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, like, I think that went well. And then, I get a call back, and they're like, we want you to rap with this, we want you to do something with this beatboxer kid. And I was like, okay, like, who is he? They're like, oh, his name's J Hype. Met with him, dude's like 6'2", he's like, got like the Hollister model look to him, and he had a voice like, he just had a deep ass voice. Like he was like, "What's up, man?" Like, and I was like, "Yo, like, what's good? Like, what are we supposed to do?" Kind of talked with him, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really know what to do." I was like, "Me either." I was like, "You know what? Let's just freestyle. Like, I'll just go on the spot and see what happens. Just like throw it all out there." He's like, "All right, like, are you like, basically saying like, can you do that?" I was like, "Yeah, like, let's just practice." So we're in the lobby. I'm just rapping, and I get people walking by to throw me words and stuff, and we're like, okay, yeah, like, we're good. So they call us in, we go do it, and we're in the room, and I was like, look, guys, like, I don't really have anything prepared, but I figured he's just going to beatbox, and you guys are going to throw me words, and I'm going to rap. They're like, okay, cool. So they do that, and I don't even remember from start to finish. I was just so, like, in the zone, and I was rapping for 15 minutes straight in front of probably 20 ABC executives. And we finished, we got to like the last bar, or what I thought was going to be the end, and the whole room just stands up, and they're just like clapping, like everyone's going crazy. And so we left there just high on life, like ready. We're like, yo, like, we got this, like, we made it. We're going to be on the show. By then I was like, look, if they don't put me on this show, like, there's no way. Like, I got a standing ovation from all the ABC executives. Like, I have to be on the show. And so, like, we waited probably a week, got the call that I made the show, flew out, went through the course of the show. Granted, I didn't even think I was going to last the whole show, because I was like, yo, like, I'm a rapper. You know, like, I've seen reality TV shows. There's always that one dude who's different. He'll get to a certain spot, but then they basically use the different people until you get to that point at the end. Like, I was like, okay, they're just going to use me to say, oh, they have a rapper on the show, basically. And then I'll get kicked off, and they'll go about how they want to make their band. But throughout the course of the show, I just never got any negative feedback, and it was always, you know, Timbaland was saying stuff like, oh, you got it, man. Like, you're so, I can see that you're ready to, you know, take it to that next step, and I see you have the hunger and the drive. And I was just like, damn, like, I might win this thing. Like, it got to like the 6th week, and I was like, I'm still here. Like, what's going on? And up until that point, I never received any negative comments from the judges. It was all positive. And then the next couple weeks went on, and I was like, there's still nothing. And I was like, well, like, what's going on? Like, am I going to be in this band? And I had a pretty good following from the show, but I guess there was just something people saw in me that, you know, they gravitated towards, and it came down to the final week, and the band was voted on by America, so they it was basically a voting system where people just went on the website and just pressed who their favorite member was. Then I ended up making the band. It was like, so yeah, like I don't even know how that really all just happened, but it was like, man, it was a crazy journey. It was like that whole summer was just, it was wild for me because, you know, I've been wanting that moment for so long, and I didn't know when it was gonna happen, and it just came at the most crucial time, and you know I was able to do something. You know what I mean?
What's it like coming together with a group of creatives that have gone through that same experience now and kind of being in this band that's been organized in a way?
That was kind of the dope part about it when I went to the original auditions and got to meet everyone for the first time. Was we were all that kid from our high school who was doing music or was trying to sing or do this or that, and it was really dope to just see everybody's energy. And of course you go into it and you're like, there's like a lot of egos, and you're like, oh, like I don't know if about this guy or this guy, but it ended up being a really cool experience, and we would jam together. You know, some guys would be singing, some like Jay would be beatboxing, and then I would come in with a verse. It was like one of the coolest things, and it was such this relief for me, just the fact that there were other kids like me who went through the same experience as me. Because growing up trying to do this, you know, I felt it's a very, very lonely path to take, you know what I mean? Writing songs all the time and just being in your head like 100% of the day, and you have to really be in tune with yourself. So when you go to a scenario where there's other people just like you, you're kind of like, oh, thank God, like I'm not crazy, I'm not bugging out. And it's a really dope thing to like share something with people like that. Yeah.
What do you think makes in real life work now?
What do I think makes in real life work now? I'm gonna rephrase that question to what I think in real life, what is gonna make in real life work. Mm-hmm. And that's just the fact that, you know, coming off the show, all of us were voted to be in the band individually, and all of us were, you know, people were like, I'm gonna vote for Michael Conor because I like Michael Conor, the way he raps. I like this, I like that. I like Drew because he can sing really well. I like Chance. I like whoever. And you gotta think as a voter's perspective, you're not really thinking about the other members. Everyone has their favorite member in a boy band, you know? You got Harry Styles, you got Zayn, all these people. Like, you ask any One Direction fan, they all have a favorite. So I think that 2019, we're kind of going to capitalize on that a little bit more and kind of give the people more individuality from each of us. And that doesn't necessarily mean solo music, but just content that kind of shines light on our personalities more so that when we do come together on stage, it's like an Avengers moment, you know what I mean? Where you have Captain America, you have Spider-Man, and all in their cities, they're like the man. They're the superhero of their city or whatever. But when they come together, you know, they conquer the world together. So I think that 2019, we're kind of going to take that approach to it and try to do something a little bit different, you know, because a lot of I don't think that's really been done with boy bands before. And we're kind of just going to try to just do something a little bit different, experiment, you know? Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Are there any stigmas that come with being in a boy band?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Like, I can't tell you, like, how many, especially for my situation, just because, you know, I am a rapper, and I grew up just listening to hip-hop, like, I'm talking, like, I studied Illmatic top to bottom, and, like, I'm very in tune with the craft, and, you know, I think about just the technical and all this stuff, like, with the craft, and, you know, being in a boy band, people look at that as, like, oh, like this dude's a rapper, really? Like, really? Like, they give you that look. And it's like, I feel like the stigmas are just, it's just a corny, bunch of, like, pretty boys jumping on stage to pop music, having fun. And I feel like that's the way it's kind of been. And, you know, there's a couple other boy bands out right now, and they're kind of doing something a little bit different as well, because I think everybody realized that, you know, it doesn't have to be like that. And you have groups like, even the Migos, technically, you could say is a boy band. They just make hip-hop music, and they have that audience. I would consider them a 2018 boy band, just because they're kind of like what the culture is at the moment. You know, when One Direction was out, it was like that was the most popular thing you had. They were selling out stadiums worldwide. But for this day and age, it's the Migos, and they're kind of just it's when you look at a boy band, it's a group of brothers. It's a team, and it's the energy about it, and that's what they bring to the table, you know? And I think that looking at that, it's kind of opened my eyes to, it doesn't have to be this one-dimensional, you sing your verse, you sing this hook, and we all dance on the stage. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. So 2019, we're going to try to figure out a different way to go about it, and try to kind of explore more and just be more of ourselves, to be honest. You know?
You have an active and growing fan base now. What's it feel like to see people showing you that kind of love?
It's crazy, because I remember a point in time where, you know, I would look at all these kids who were my age, who had all these followers and stuff, and I'd be like, man, if only I had that, if only I had 10,000 followers, 20,000, everything would be amazing. And now that I'm at a position where I do have a following, I'm at that point where I'm very grateful for it, you know what I mean? It's not just like it's there on my phone. I'm not used to having all that stuff for the majority of my life, and I'm not used to putting up a picture and getting all these comments and likes. So it's still a very exhilarating feeling, just knowing that there's so many people out there and they're all over the country and the world too, that are engaging with you. And I kind of think about it as that. I don't think about it as just the numbers on my screen. It's more about the different types of people who come together through you, and I think that's what makes it really cool. Like, I just put up this Thank You Next cover with Cassidy King, and you know, we had a show. We had a show that following Wednesday. We shot it on a Sunday, and I was just like, yeah, let's just put out this cover to promote the show, you know? And she was like, yeah, let's just do it. We'll sell some more tickets, you know? It'll be cool. We record it in her car, like nothing serious, just put it up on Twitter, and the next thing I know, it hits 100,000 views, and I'm like, whoa, like, what the hell's going on? Like, this is kind of unusual. Next thing you know, 200, 300. I wake up and it's at 600. Before the end of the day, it was at 1 million. Before the end of the night, it was at 2 million. And then the next day, it hit 4, and it just kept going, and it's almost at 5 now. But I just, that feeling of like, holy, like, what is going on? Like, all these people I was getting all these followers, and all these people were posting me on these different social media accounts, and I was freaking out. I was like, dude, what is going, like, this was an accident. It was literally an accident. In my head, I wasn't like, yo, this is going to go viral, and it's going to break the internet, or any of that stuff, but I guess people enjoyed it. So I say all that just to say it's a very exhilarating thing, and, you know, I think that it happens from genuine moments, and I don't think it doesn't just happen to you, you know? Someone shouting you out isn't going to get you necessarily that following. It's what you do and why are people going to, you know, why are people going to follow you? Why should I follow you? You have to think about that, and kind of just establish like who you are, and just give that authenticity to people, and it'll come eventually, you know? So yeah, it's cool. It's sick.
There's people with entire Instagram accounts dedicated to just like your face, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you remain humble and wrap your head around that, you know, when you see all that kind of attention?
I don't even know. To remain humble, I mean, I just look at it all as a blessing, and I look at it all as this could go away in an instant. This isn't forever, you know? you can lose fans like that. You can be the biggest thing in the world and then a week later be nobody. I mean, I've seen it happen. There's so many people throughout the years who they blow up and have this big buzz, huge, like global, like they're a meme basically. And then all of a sudden, within a couple months, you start hearing less and less about them, and they don't make that second step. It's like, damn. So, but it's funny. Like I go on Instagram and I see pictures. There's like BMOC hair. They had one for my backpack for a while. I always wore this red JanSport backpack. There's like one for my, like, I feel like, I don't know. There's got to be a Smile account. There's got to be one of those. They have different, like it's just the craziest thing, and I think it's so cool just seeing, and it's also kind of like, it's like a scrapbook almost. So I check in on these accounts, like the hair one, and I'm like, okay, like I need to get my hair back like that, because every single picture I post, they post it, and they have my hair in it. So I'm like, okay, it looks cool there. Next time I get it cut, I'm gonna tell them to do it like that. So it's a dope tool to have.
There's so many people know you for your role in real life. Is there anything that you wish more people knew about you or understood about you?
Yeah, I think just first and foremost, people just have to understand that I just really, me being in this band isn't because of the opportunity. It's because I love music and I always want to be around it. And starting off, I just wanted to be a rapper. I just wanted to rap. I didn't care about money or fans or any of that. I just really liked doing it. And it was just this thing where I was just obsessed with. And I think it's hard for people to understand that just because I am in a boy band. But to any new people, I would just say, like, dude, like, I worked for this. I really just, like, put my head down and just like, I don't know the metaphor, but I worked really hard, and this didn't just happen. I'm not just some kid who got famous on Instagram and joined a band and got followers. It's like, this has been a process since I was 11 years old. I'm 19 now. It's been 8 years of writing songs in this room and in Virginia, in this notebook right here. And yeah, I'm just a passionate guy, and I don't plan on stopping until I feel like I need to, and I don't feel like I need to anytime soon. So,
who are your rap influences?
Rap influences. So when I started, my whole introduction to hip hop was actually, it was a Jay-Z video, and it was the Empire State of Mind video in like 2010, and I saw the music video pop on my suggested, and I was like, oh, let me check this out, and I like fell in love with the song. I was like, yo, this is so cool, like the instrumentation and like the piano, and it was just this anthem-y sound, and I thought that was so cool. And then obviously through him I checked out more of his music. I found Eminem, I found Kanye. That's when Drake was popping off and the whole Young Money movement. And I just kind of fell in love with just the idea of it. I didn't even necessarily think that I would do it myself, but there came a point where I was like, yo, like this, it looks so fun. I just want to be that. I want to be that guy who kids will look to me as, oh, like that's so cool what he's doing. So I found Nas, and just through the takeover beef where Jay-Z and him had that beef, and I was like, oh, like who's this guy Nas? Checked him out, and I found Illmatic. When I found Illmatic, I was about 15, so that's like a couple years after. Like I was just going through my listening phase and writing raps here and there and just having fun with it. But I listened to Illmatic and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I had this moment in my head where it's like, I need to do this too. Like I was so inspired that I wanted to immediately just pick the pen up and write Illmatic basically. At that time, like I was writing to beats that sounded like Nas beats, and I was writing to The World Is Yours instrumental and Memory Lane DJ Premier beats. and I was just like so obsessed with making like that album just because I loved it so much. And that was kind of one of my introductions. And then there's this rapper named Logic, who I saw his music video in 2012. I was in 7th grade, and I'm kind of bouncing like through different time periods, but 7th grade, I saw this music video, and I think it had like 300,000 views or something. It's called The Spotlight, and he had like a FaZe Clan hoodie on, and he was just rapping, and there was just something about it. You know, he kind of looked like me, and I just thought, oh, this guy's so dope, and I followed his mixtapes from seeing that video, and you know, just like fell in love with his music and just his whole message, which was like, just be a good person and follow your dreams, basically. And I felt like listening to his mixtapes, like he was talking to me almost. And that was a very therapeutic thing for me, listening to his music. Just at a time of, you know, you're going through high school, the transition from middle to high school. It's a lot of adjusting in your brain that your brain is doing, and you're going through puberty, you're doing all this stuff, so it was really cool to have that outlet of somebody who I felt like was speaking to me, you know what I mean? And telling me that I could go up and do what I want to do. And that was a really dope person who I followed throughout, I still follow to this day. And then fast forward to freshman year, I went to a J. Cole concert. Now this was his Forest Hills Drive tour. And I'd listened to the album, and I obviously become a fan, but after that show, I just felt like, okay, like, yeah, it's time for me to go up and do this. You know what I mean? Like, I left that show and I saw the way that he interacted with the crowd and just how people reacted to his music and just the energy he brought on stage. And I was like, yep, that's what I want to do. I'm doing it. And from there, it was just set in my mind. I was like, there's no question that I need to be doing this. So, as far as then, Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, Kanye, let me think. As far as like main influences, and then newer age, I would say Logic, J. Cole, Kendrick, Joey Badass, I think is dope. Mac, obviously. I even got posters up here. Pusha T. Got Graduation over there. Travis Scott. Joyner Lucas is one of my favorite up and coming people. Just his like technical ability to really rap, and you know he can do the fast stuff, but he does the fast stuff in a way where it doesn't sound forced. You know, some people rap fast and you're just like, okay, dude, like we get it, but he does it in a way that's like so technical and so perfect. The way he lines up his syllables and just the flows and the cadence, it's just like this whole thing. Like I have it down. I study him like so much. But yeah, those are kind of some of the people that influenced me.
You made a statement on TV as a rapping violinist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it difficult to blend those two styles?
Violin was actually my introduction to music. So when I was about 6 years old, my dad took me to a violin shop and was like, we're gonna see if this works. You're gonna play it. He put me through lessons, and that was kind of my introduction to music in general. And I remember I just kind of like had so much fun just learning new songs, and I was progressing at a very quick rate, and you know, improving a lot faster than what was normal. And at the time, I didn't know that because I was just doing it. But I remember one of the things I loved to do was I was really into Star Wars and Indiana Jones and big movies like that, like Steven Spielberg. And I would just learn the soundtracks, and that would just be I thought that was like the coolest thing to be able to play my favorite songs. Or anything I heard on the radio too. Like I would play all my favorite Jay-Z songs and make my own arrangements to them. And that was kind of a thing where I had that technical skill, that musical background, and it just helped me so much transition into writing. And so I'd been playing violin for like my whole life since I was 6, not my whole life, but you know, I can't really remember too much before that. And I I remember a point where I was like, man, like I wish I could, do something else. I've been doing this for what, like 9 years now? There's only so far you can go, and I wasn't trying to be in an orchestra. I wasn't trying to be, like, go that route. So then my mom got me a keyboard for Christmas. It wasn't this one. It was this very small, like, Casio keyboard. And I started teaching myself how to play different songs. And then through that, there was also this, you could record on it. So I would make beats, and I would try to recreate instrumentals through my favorite songs. So I would have all these beats that I would just, and it was a thing where you didn't have like a metronome or anything. So I would literally, it would be recording, and I would have to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I would have to do it exactly like that, and I would put drums on it, hi-hats, try to recreate my favorite songs. So that was my introduction to production, I guess you could say. But then through that, even I hit a point at that where I was like, oh, there's only so much I can do with this in my head. Obviously, I could have gone and I could have figured out other ways to make beats, gone into sampling and stuff, but at that time I was like, damn, like I hit this wall again where I was like, damn, I need to do something else. And I'd always been a good writer. When I was in 3rd grade, I used to write literally books, and I would write these book series of stuff about me and my friends going back in time and going to all these different historical events and stuff, and I made this whole series just when I was in 3rd grade. So I was always a writer, but I never really thought that I could be a rapper, just because the rappers that I saw were just, the certain backgrounds they came from or the stories that they were telling. I was like, well, that's not my story. I can't do that. But then I started writing, and it just became this thing that just kept going, and I didn't really run out of stuff to say. I felt like every time there was something going on in my life, I could just write about it. And it would kind of be like, oh, I put this on the page, like it's out, it's done. I got that thought out of me. And, people say all the time that it's their therapy, but it's the truth. Because you just got to think about, let's say you go through a breakup or you go through this, and you just keep all those feelings inside. But for me, I would go straight to my room and write it all down. And it's kind of like working out. You have that stress, and you have all that tension just building up inside of you from whatever had happened previously, and then you just let it all out. So yeah, it became very important to me, and I sort of depended on it in a sense, where I would need to write it down, and I wouldn't just want to write it down. It would be like, I have to go write this down. I have to make this song. I have to do it. And that was kind of my transition from violin to rap. And now it's cool because I have the violin still, and I can still play it and do all this stuff, but I also have that other side of me where it's like this very classical violin, and then I just start spitting, and people are like, what the hell? And that was like what my audition was. I auditioned with A Little More by MGK just because it had, strings in it, so I could play the violin with it, and then I did his verse. And Timbaland saw it, and he was like, whoa, like who is this guy? And it was like a really cool feeling.
So you've had a wild year of experiences leading up to a tour with the band. What's next for 2019 for as far as your role in the band and yourself?
What's next for 2019? I would say you guys are going to be seeing, for sure, a lot more of me. When I say more of me, I mean me personally. I'm going to be putting out a lot of content this year. Just kind of letting you guys into my everyday life. I'm not going to be a vlogger, but I'll give you guys certain snippets and stuff. And just, man, I have some crazy stuff planned. Like, you guys aren't going to be expecting it. Yeah, just it's going to be a crazy year. It's going to be really fun. And I just have so much planned, and you guys are just going to have to stay tuned. It's going to be a big year for me, for sure.